Hello beer supers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hobbits, today drinking some beer that I got from Hopskull Beer Guide. He sent me a very special beer that I can't wait to try. Revolution's Double Barrel, DB or Double Barrel VSOJ. Very special old jacket. Very acclaimed beer. One of the highest rated beers from Revolution. And I've really been wanting to try some of the VSOJs, VSO, whatever. Like they have all these VSOJ, VSOR, VSO, like all these different special barrel age releases from the brewery that you can only get at the brewery. So that'll be really fun. But he sent some extras, and both of them sounds pretty dope, and one of them is really old, which is quite cool. So this one is a Saison. And this is from a pretty big collab. So it's brewed at Hoppe Bier. And I'm not sure if I've reviewed any Hoppe beer on the channel. I might have one or two. But Hoppe, it's funny. Hoppe, Peter, master of hoppets. Hoppe beer. So funny. But Hoppe does mainly Saisons. And is one of the few brewers in Denmark actually specializing in it. Not a lot of brewers here do Saisons. And it's not only not only, but most Saisons you see from more modern brewers otherwise are like funky ones and farmhouse ale type stuff that's sour and whatnot, and not necessarily brewed with like saison yeast, and it's more like something like Saison du Pont. And I think some of the saisons I've had from him has been more like classic. They haven't been that like funky, although he likes to use some not too classic ingredients. But this is a pretty big collab. It's a collab with Gedigent Håndbryggeri, which is a home brewery, and then Thyras, which is a nano brewery, and Pleasanti Street, which I gave a shout out in my top 10 this year. Patrick does some very nice beers for a home brewer, and actually really cool. He won the homebrew competition for MBCC this year, so he's going to be pouring his homebrew, so you need to check that out if you're going. But this is the mega collab they did, if you can call it that. La Saison de l'amour. A Saison brewed by Saison lovers for Saison lovers, as far as I could gather here on the label. It is brewed with pale malts, and it's dry hopped with Motueka. So let's check it out. I know a lot of the Copenhagen beer geeks really love this stuff, and we don't see it too often over here in the big part of Denmark, in Jutland, the big peninsula. So it'll be fun to try some. Pale golden yellow color, hazy, white head, not a big fizz when I pop the bottle, but let's check it out. For sure smells like a Saison. That smells pretty damn good. This has a criminally low average. Welcome to Denmark if you don't make mainstream beer or just in general Scandinavia. Scandinavians rate so low. I immediately think the likes of Saison du Pont. This really classic, really doughy and bready Saison. And the Motueka definitely shines. There is a mango type component that I really associate with Motueka, but it's not overdone. It's quite subtle. And it has a little bit of a husky grain profile. Not too much spicy yeast character, phenolic, quite peppery. White pepper. There's a touch of the crisp green apple too. But it's really doughy and bready. Almost like you... Also, this sounds a bit weird. It sounds a bit... not so nice, but almost like a bit like a yeast slurry. Like, not heavily so, but there's something that reminds me of yeast slurry when baking, and then like mixing it with the dough, like this really fresh, bready doughiness. And then like crackery and light. It smells really nice. Very floral too. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Thanks, Hopskull, for the beer. You could crush this. ABV 6.8. Really easy going for such high ABV. I loved a little bit more carbonation on this one though. I think that would be really nice, but that's great. Good. Was this a 3.4 or something? Come on, people. It's just like, that's not Saison, but think about Thyras or some of those classic Belgian beers. People also rating those beers like idiots. Like they're wonderful, but they have such low averages. Not that this is really alike, but it's definitely more similar in profile to something like a Saison du Pont type of Saison, a more classic Saison. It's got a little bit of a sweet maltiness, but otherwise it's fairly fluffy, doughy, bready. It has that crisp green apple, sour green apple, touches of the Motueka dry hop with a bit of mango, maybe even a hint of a grape or grape skin. Nice maltiness as well, like just sweet bready malt, that doughy breadiness. Slightly perfumey, slightly floral. I just wish it had more carbonation. It's not like dead flat, but it's not like it doesn't like burst onto your palate. I like that in saisons often. It's a bit like I wish it had a bit more. Nice dryness, but still quite fluffy and full in the mouth. A peppery phenolic character. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty tasty saison. It's one of those that doesn't get the credit it deserves, I think, especially when it's done more classically like this and not done in a farmhouse wild ale kind of approach, because it is really nice. I mean, Saison du Pont is such a classic. That and like the dry hop variants are often so good, especially if you get them fresh. Fresh du Pont is so good. But this is really nice. I'm not like floored and blown away by it, but I think it's a nice collab. And if you're into more classic saisons, you'll really dig this. So in terms of grade, 88 or something like that. It's pretty tasty. Like the big thing is like a bit more carbonation. That's like the only thing, and maybe I don't know if it needs to be more intense in flavor, but it's nicely well. It's actually quite well balanced, and it's like dry, but it also has a little bit of sweetness and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's not exactly flat, but it's not a lot of carbonation, at least in this bottle. It also didn't really generate much head pouring out. It just makes it seem a bit more dull, but that's like the only real beef I have with it. But otherwise, it's nice. So yeah, go get some La Saison de l'Amour by Hoppe Bier, Pleasanti Street, Thyras, and Gedigent Håndbryggeri. If you guys already had this one, let me know what you thought of it. As always, comment, subscribe. Check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And thanks a ton to Pout for the beer. Check him out, Hopskull Beer Guide on Instagram. And I'm almost like cheers and some Saison. And see you guys in the beer review.